What's up? How you doing? Beautiful day today. Very nice weather. Slight breeze. I want to say east to west, probably less than half a mile an hour. At the very height of it, it's probably less than that. Got some nice water here. A few ice cubes in there. Nice and cold. I don't even have to look. LAPD. LAPD. I don't know where they're flying to every day. I mean, I can understand once in a while, but every day, many times. So, Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses. I can't say enough. Awesome talent, awesome band. Just, you know, one of those things that comes around once in a lifetime. Or maybe a few times, because there's a few bands that are very good, but they were huge. You know, kids these days sound like the old people, but kids these days, they don't understand how big Guns N' Roses were. When Appetite for Destruction came out, I think that thing sold like 18 million copies, maybe more. Great music, great guitar playing, great singing. You can't say much more than that, but they were awesome. I don't know, I don't listen to Axl Rose sing anymore. I mean, I did hear him a while back, and I don't know what happened with the voice, but it doesn't have what it had back in those days. Yeah, he's older, but I guess that kind of singing shreds your vocal cords a little bit, and then when you get older, you lose some of that, where, you know, you got guys that sing ballads, and they could be 80 years old and they still sound pretty good. But this kind of singing that Axl Rose did, that has a short lifespan. But I'm a big fan. I enjoyed their music. The guitar playing was off the charts. Slash, just incredible guitar player. I'm a big fan of the guitar anyway, you know, especially, you know, the harder edge. I don't know what that is. Sounds like a big broom. But you know what? Music, I listen to the new stuff now. I still listen to new music. I mean, I know what's going on. I know the new hits. I still buy Billboard magazine. I check out the hits, top 200. But it has a bit of an artificial quality for obvious reasons. AI has taken over. A lot of people that don't have the talent to be the kind of musicians that we had back in the older days, the olden days, they've found a way to make a living in the music field, in the music industry, by using AI. You know, we lost the drums. For a period of time, most songs were drum machines or computer generated sounds that sounded like drums. We lost that for a while. I think it's back now. There's a lot of people playing drums live on their songs. But you know, bass, we lost that. I'm a big bass guy. I love the bass. I like the artificial bass, but I prefer the human bass. What's that guy's name on YouTube? Is it Davie504, 504? I gotta look him up. I think it's Dave, maybe it's Davie Crockett, but I think it's Davie504. Yeah, it is Davie with an I-E. Davie504. I highly recommend his channel. Just awesome bass player. I love listening to the bass lines in songs. You know, I will crank up the bass on my tuner, and I will listen to the bass. You know, when I went to see U2 back in 91, the bass that they had, the mix on those speakers live was incredible. You know, and I love songs that have the bass and the drums elevated. You know, I prefer the live sound, the real instruments, but, you know, I also like the loops drum loops that people come up with and use on songs. I love artificial bass also, but not as much as the real bass. Got some coffee here. I'm not gonna make it now, I'm gonna make it later. I mean, this coffee, if you could smell it, try and smell that. You can't, but if you could, you would see what a beautiful, beautiful smelling coffee bean that is. It smells great. This is the rainbow blend. This is a bunch of different roasts put into one bag. They always ask me when I buy coffee, I buy it in bean form so I can make it as I go. I don't want to have the whole thing sitting there all, you know, powdered up. They always said to me, you want me to grind that up for you? And I said, no, I have the technology at my house. And if I wanted you to grind it up, I would have bought the coffee already in ground form. So this is from Hawaii, North Shore, the island of Oahu. And it's Green World. Highly recommend it. I had some, not from this bag, but from another batch, and it was just awesome. Awesome stuff. But the smell is very, very good. You wake up in the morning, you know, cool day out, you make a fresh cup, maybe even a pot, but a fresh cup of coffee. You sit outside, sip it slowly. Yeah. So we're gonna make some steak here. I have a ribeye. This one is grass-fed, beginning of life, midlife crisis, and then the end of life, grass-fed. They finish it off. So look at that. I don't want it to slide off, but look at that. Organic. I do the basic stuff. I don't want to disguise the flavor. Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. Give it a flip. And I didn't bring a napkin out, so I'm going to use the different portion of my hand. So I'm going to go wash my hands quickly, and I shall be back. I will. I might will. No, I will. Alright, I'm back. So I got the fire over there going. Have it at around 650 to 700 degrees Fahrenheit. I only deal with Fahrenheit. Sometimes I use Kelvin, but today I'm using Fahrenheit. Alright. Don't overcook your steaks unless you like it that way. If you like it that way, you know, you want it to look like charcoal inside and out, then cook it longer. Me, I like it medium rare. Cook the outside nice and crusty, and when you cut it, the inside should be pink for me. Somebody else was cooking. I smell a sweetness in the air, like I want to say chicken with glaze, honey glaze, something like that. It smells really good, really good. You know, sometimes I sit out here in the evening hours when people are getting home from work and they're preparing their dinners, and you can smell a little bit of steak, a little bit of onions, sauteed onions. Sometimes you smell fish, shrimp. Tough to smell pasta, but every once in a while you can smell something that smells like pasta. So that's it. I was in Hawaii for a little bit for Thanksgiving. Really nice time there. I'm a big fan of Davie504, Jack Lord. Matter of fact, I have it inside. I have a canceled check from Jack Lord from the 60s. I bought it a long time ago. Actually, my wife got it for me because she knows I'm a big fan of Jack Lord. No, it's not Jack Lord, Jack Lord's. I'm a fan of Jack Lord's. I know it's possessive. So it was for like $2 and something, dry cleaning. Place does not exist anymore. The dry cleaners was not too far from here, the address. But that's gone. And this is when Jack Lord lived here. Then when he got the job on Davie504, the television series, he moved permanently to Hawaii. Even when the show was over, he stayed there. But the canceled check that I have is from here, the 1960s, pre-Davie504. I'm not a big dry cleaner guy. I just put everything in the washing machine and put a little bit of Tide in there, a little bit of Downy, and sometimes I wash things twice. Depends if it's, you know, something that I wore to the desert and I was crawling around and, you know, doing all sorts of things out there. I may wash it twice, but I don't overpack the washing machine. I put it medium height. I don't overstuff it, so everything gets clean really well the first time. So yeah, I don't really use dry cleaners unless I have to, like if it's something like leather, and even then, you know, I'll try and get, you know, saddle soap and clean it myself. But if it's something really like delicate, expensive, and I don't want to screw it up, otherwise you never hear the end of it, right? You know, the wife will be saying, you know, that was expensive leather, and you know, whatever. Wool is another one. You got to be very careful with wool. You know, like I had a wool sweater, and then we washed it. Accidentally, it snuck into the normal clothes that you could wash in hot water. Then when I pulled it out, it looked like for a little baby. It's like that big. And no matter how much, you know, stretching, I know they tell you can stretch it out to a certain point if you use conditioner, hair conditioner, and then sit there in the tub and, you know, stretch it out in cold water, and the conditioner will relax the wool fibers and bring it back. But no, this was far gone. This was like I needed to have two Clydesdale horses pulling in the opposite direction to bring it back to normal. So my wife ended up getting me a brand new one, same company, Irish, because I'm a big fan of Ireland. Big fan of Ireland. I've never been there, had many Irish friends. Not one of them used Irish Spring soap. That's just a stereotype. I use that once in a while. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Irish Spring soap. A lot of noise out there. Irish Spring, I like that commercial. Guy would whistle. That Toots guy, the guy that came up with the theme for Sesame Street, or played the theme for Sesame Street, I don't know if he came up with it, but he played the harmonica. He also came up with that little jingle, that little whistle, that Irish Spring commercial whistle. Came up with that. So, I like that soap. I like Coast. Remember when Coast came out? Way back. And they had this woman who was in the commercial, and she was kind of like half sleepy, and then she would take a sniff from the soap, and she would immediately wake up. The eye opener. They came up with that slogan. I was a fan of that. I used to use that, soap back in the old days. But I grew up with Ivory soap, which is a good basic soap. My parents, especially my mother is not really a fragrance person. She likes plain things, plain smell, plain food, plain clothes, plain. But if you gave her a soap that had like an aroma, it would get on her nerves. I think she's the one that voted and won that the family used Ivory soap. So we used Ivory for, I still use Ivory once in a while. It's a good soap, cleans well. And I'll tell you this about Ivory. My father had a friend, a welder. So anything my father needed, like a fire escape or anything, that you had to weld together, he would go to him, and he would take me along when I was a kid. And he had a shop. It was like an old garage. You'd go in, it was all metal everywhere, steel, and he'd have that welder's helmet on, and we'd go in there and we'd talk to him. If I'd say I need a fire escape or something. And one day we were over there, and he had just finished working, and we're talking to him, and he went over to where the outdoor hose, the faucet was, and he had a brand new bar of Ivory soap. And I was looking at him, and I was looking at his hands. His hands looked like he was working on a motor. They were like really filthy. And I was thinking, that's not going to help you at all. You need lava soap or that pumice, that soap with the pumice in it, that's what you need. So he sits there and he's talking to us, and the water's running, and he opens up the brand new Ivory, and he started washing his hands. And a lot of people don't know this, but I base my hand washing technique. I base my hand washing technique on him. He inspired me that day. So his hands were really filthy, and he took the soap and he went through the motion, and it became all lathery, and the lather went from white to tan to black. And I said, looks pretty good, looks clean. And then he rinsed them off, and he did a second dose, and he did it the exact same way, better than a doctor. Actually, I was going to say like a doctor, but he washed his hands better than a doctor. And then he rinsed them, and I was inspired by that hand washing technique. I changed my technique. I mean, it was similar to his, except he was more aggressive. It wasn't like I would wash them like this and then rinse them. I would do the 20-second minimum and rinse them. But when I saw him, now when I wash my hands, he's still alive. Still alive. I think he's like 90, 91. Still alive. And a long time ago, many years ago, I had mentioned it to his daughter through an email. But, I didn't tell her it was me. I don't know if she even remembered me. And I said to her, your father washed his hands in front of me one day after work, and he kind of inspired me to wash my hands like that. No more water. And she responded and said, that's funny. She goes, he's known for that. He's known for his hand washing. I guess he had to, because he was a welder, and he had to come up with a good technique. But not only was I impressed with the technique, I was impressed that Ivory cleaned his hands so well. And from that point on, I was sold at the effectiveness of the soap. It wasn't just, a wimpy soap without any fragrance. It actually cleaned well. So I recommend, I've done a YouTube video on Ivory soap, and I highly recommend it. It's a really good soap. Really good soap. My favorite Ivory commercial is the one with that couple that drop off this woman at the railroad station. You got to see it. It's like from the 70s, and it's just like the wife. I'm assuming it's his wife or his girlfriend or whatever. To me, it seems like she's jealous, and maybe she's thinking if the husband, maybe is he cheating with her, or I don't even know if it's a girlfriend, if it's his I don't know. it's something to him. But you know, it's the one where she asks him if her skin, or if she's as glamorous as her, and I think at the end he goes, no, but you're healthier. So anyway, I love that commercial. So that's it. I'm gonna go make it cook itself on the fire, medium rare, and then I'm gonna eat it. All right, that's it for now. Ciao.